Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to discuss the final, whatever, podcast of the year, and what was brought up by Brian at the very end of it, which is them versus the feds at this point, which apparently, typical fucking federal government up everybody's asses at this point, except for what asses they actually need to be up, which is Islamic terrorism in this country. You legitimately have them again attacking white people, is what it is for the most part, and just fucking men in general that are American citizens in this country, and being like, oh, but these guys are what's leading to this rise of fucking toxic masculinity or some other stupid horseshit is what it is, which is just a bunch of garbage in general. It is not. And I think it's fucking disgusting that you had that piece of shit Kiko, which I fucking hate that woman so much, dude. Like, honestly, I really do want to see her fight that Tay Tay girl, because that Tay Tay woman would fucking knock her ass out cold within like 1 second. Basically, it would be like a one punch fucking KO at that point. And yeah, you had dumbass Kiko at the very end of it being all like, oh, but that guy here in the, because I forget where the actual cast is located out there in California. It's like the Vista place where that one dude on that mass murder spree is what it is there. The problem is, what Kiko failed to talk about in the whole situation there with that piece of crap is that fucking guy wasn't originally targeting the general public, dude. His original intent, because by the way, just to point out that fucking piece of shit Elliot Rogers' previous time as a child there, the guy was a fucking lunatic. He was literally mentally institutionalized from the time he was a small child to the time he was a fucking adult, off and on. He should have never had access to firearms whatsoever in this country. He should have never been out of a fucking mental institution, honestly, because he was a raging fucking psychopath or sociopath or some shit like that, dude. But yet, that was never brought up, obviously, because Kiko's a fucking dipshit is what it is, dude. And she wants to sit here and bitch about, like, incel behavior, yet that fucking dude, after the fact, because mind you, that guy was actually this, I forget what kind of, he was like mixed race something or other, was like white Asian or something like that's what it is. Like white Chinese, white Japanese, something like that's what it is. But anywho, you had a bunch of females after the fact. Everyone was killing spree and killing people is what it is there. And then obviously died after the fact is what it was there. But they were like, oh yeah, I totally would have fucked that guy. Because that was his own whole thing, was like him not being able to get laid in fucking California there. But like, the whole point is that was a besides the point thing entirely in itself, too, for that matter. Because when you actually looked at the timeline of events that led up to that whole, killing spree is what it is there, this dude was trying to kill his own father, stepmother, and half sibling. And the only reason he didn't go on that fucking half of that part of the actual murder spree, which is what would have stopped him, pretty sure, actually, is because his father, who was a Hollywood producer at the time, went out of town to shoot some fucking movie or something like that's what it was. And so he wasn't actually, I believe it wasn't even just out of town, it was out of the country, if I'm not mistaken. So he wasn't even in the United States of America at the time that the whole thing happened. But here's another thing about the whole thing, too, that I want to bring up for that matter, because I do want to talk about the situation of how it stands right now, is, again, Kiko failed to realize stuff like here. You had the police in California do an actual welfare check on this fucking guy, who he even said in one of the many videos that he posted before he went on that killing spree, as it was, had the cops done their job and actually looked into his fucking bedroom that he shared with like the two other dudes, whatever it was there, that were, or sorry, I think it was three other guys, if I'm not mistaken, he shared that apartment with, because that was the first three murder victims that was there, that he killed with a knife and stuff, which that's another thing too, by the way. It's not like he used a gun for all of his killing spree, dude. He used a fucking knife on this roommates there, is what it was. And then he used like a random guns on the fucking general public, is what it was then, after the fact. So you had him basically like, straight up say like, had the cops actually done their job and done a proper welfare check and looked into his room at the time, they would have found his small arsenal right then. And they could have stopped him. So really, it's a giant circle jerk of fail on the fucking on both the state and federal government at that point. For this dude even being out of our society is what it is, dude. And that's the problem. And then you have lunatics like that walking around all the time is what it is, dude. But at the same time, you have an open border crisis going on currently, where you have the size of a football stadium being let into this country every 3 to 7 days right now. It's fucking insane, dude. It's absolutely psychotic. And to sit there and talk about, like, oh, America's problem is fucking incel behavior. No, it's not. What America's problem is 100% illegal alien behavior in this country. The same illegal aliens that will find random American citizens and kill them, onesie twosies. It's fucking disgusting, dude, is what it is. And it's absolutely sickening to me that you see these pieces of shit, fucking literal OnlyFans whores, have a larger platform than I do at this point. Honestly, it pisses me off, honestly, on that particular one is what it is, dude. And what do they do with that message? Nothing, because they're fucking retarded is what it is, dude. It's just like that Bangs girl that was on the cast there tonight, where it was her versus Andrew Wilson. And he was rightfully calling her ass out on her stupidity is what it was there. And she was like, oh, I'm only 21 and my full frontal lobe hasn't developed yet. Da, 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 da. It's like, yeah, it never will because you're acting like a goddamn child, you fucking retard. Like, that's the problem, dude. And I've said before, honestly, like, at least in part, the 19th Amendment in this country was 100% a mistake across the board. And it's because you have all these dipshits like that, like the Bangs of the world, like the Kikos of the world, etc., that will sit there and bitch and moan about fucking equality this, equality that. You had one of these girls, and it was like Bang's best friend or whatever, who was bitching and moaning about, I'm trying to think what it was now offhand, because it was several hours ago I watched that part of it. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. It was her bitching about, like, feminist ideology and stuff like that, and, like, basically trying to call herself a quote-unquote, like, left-leaning libertarian or something like that. It's like, well, first off, again, this is the problem with people that don't actually research things at all, dude. They just don't. If you actually look at the creation of the Libertarian Party in the 1970s, it is based directly off the Democrat Party. It was a bunch of disaffected Democrat people who got pissed at the fucking Democrats, the Jimmy Carters of the world, etc. there, because they were just like fucking ridiculous. They were like, this is fucking ridiculous bullshit right here is what it is, dude. JFK's assassination there is what it was. And they went and formed their own party. It's exactly why abortion was one of the main platforms for the Libertarian Party as a baseline is what it was there for their platforms and stuff. And we look at a lot of the other crap they took as their like go-to things what it was for their actual like party platform. It was 100% just literally just grabbing Democrat ideology there and fucking tossing it into their new political platforms what it was there, dude. So, you know, that's the difference between myself and everybody else, though. Like, I'll actually admit that the Internet Libertarian Party I created in 2016, there's parts of all major parties that exist right now in this country, dude, as part of that shit. There's a lot of conservatism and, like, GOP leading in that one. There's also some sort of leftist ideology stuff, like, specifically, like, being pro-weed, etc., which that could actually be more towards the constitutional side, honestly, on that one. Just because of the fact that if you look at our founding fathers and stuff like that, they were all pro-freedom like that's what it was, which, you know, and I've said many times on this channel, just because you indulge in marijuana does not give the government the right to take away your gun rights is what it is. And it's absolute bullshit that we have to put up with this kind of crap in our country currently in 2023, going into 2024 right now. So, yeah, it's not surprising, though, to see, you know, the feds go after the whatever podcast, claiming the quote-unquote manosphere was the fucking, like, one of the biggest threats to Americans right now or whatever with, like, terrorism and shit. And then trying to compare these dudes or Andrew Tate or whatever the case be to fucking ISIS. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what a fucking, like, this again goes to show what a fucking joke the government-created agencies, whether it be the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, etc., really are, honestly. These unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. is what it is. These deep state motherfuckers who are behind pretty much every single fucking mass shooting for the last, like, 20 years now. Maybe even longer than that, for that matter. You know? Because I guarantee if you start looking into them hard enough, dude, like, you can find almost direct ties to every single one of them back to the fucking feds at this point. Especially the ones that are, like, really fucking obvious, like Uvalde and Park Lane and stuff like that. That's what it is, dude. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Or, you know, Sandy Hook, since that's coming up pretty quick. Here's what it is. Or, no, sorry, I think we just passed the anniversary of that, if I'm not mistaken. It was, like, 14th or something like that, if I'm not mistaken there. So, yeah, just a bunch of shit all the way around, dude. I really just fucking had it, honestly, with a lot of this BS right now is what it is. And it really just does piss me off, honestly, dude, because I'm just like, we could have so much better of a society right now if it wasn't for the social decay and like collapse and shit of this country, basically. And it's an engineered collapse at this point. Let's be honest with ourselves, man. Like, it very much is. Like, it's legitimately a bunch of fuckers, bunch of unelected pieces of shit in our government currently, or control, like, the ones controlling puppet strings is what it is, of like the Bidens and Harrises and stuff like that is what it is there, that are basically leading the charge to fuck over our nation entirely. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I personally am just like, nah, dude, fuck that. So I do honestly see like some crazy shit happening though in the next couple of years in this country. Honestly, like I believe truthfully, we are several months away right now, and by that I mean like anywhere from like 4 to 6, give or take, to where you're going to have an actual civil war start in this nation. I believe. Like if it doesn't start by like June of next year, I'd be shocked as fuck, honestly. And by that, it could be like a legit civil war. It could be like an actual engineer kind of deal is what it is. Because obviously, you know, if they want to keep the presidency and like Democrats specifically want to cheat their way back in office, what it is there, they would kind of pull that shit. It would be a way for them to pull that specifically so that they could then turn around and suspend the U.S. Constitution and basically ensure martial law in this nation and stuff like that for, you know, fake ass elections and permanent power dictatorship styles, what it is, which again, that case would actually lead to an actual civil war in this country and revolutionary events what it would be then. Which we talked about here as well for different scenarios and whatnot. So anyway, you know, it depends on what they want to do, honestly. But, you know, it's kind of a fuck around and find out kind of situation right now is what it is, dude. So anyway, that being said, it just like, it really is like so infuriating though to see like so many of these young females like that. Like I said, like the Kikos of the world, especially that Bangs girl specifically. She is just, my God, man. That girl is dumb as a fucking box of hammers, honestly. I don't understand how half of these chicks even make it through life at this point, dude. And my only guess is that it's basically just dudes, like literally simp-ass men, like beta males, basically, that are just like propping them up. Which honestly, and I'm going to say it like it is, dude. If we do go into a full-blown collapse in this country, like legit like grid down and stuff like that, these are going to be the females of our society right now that are not going to make it very far. I give it a week, if even that long, before you would have random dudes, and I'm talking about like, you know, going back to, I'd like to do Walking Dead references, obviously off and on here is what it is. That one crew that called themselves the Claimers or whatever, it would be a group of those kind of guys right there that are like, you know, like those are the guys, honestly. And this thing too, by the way, that people don't realize is, when you start looking into how everything would go down, like currently, if you actually look into our prison systems in this country, there is actually supposed to be a legit kill list for correctional officers in this nation if anything ever does happen, like whether it be an EMP attack or some kind of grid down event or whatever the case be. Like their whole thing is they're supposed to kill like every murderer pretty much in that prison in quick succession, and then it's either let the other ones go or just let the other ones like basically be locked down and starved to death there is what it is. So now granted, does that mean that's what they're going to actually do? Maybe not. I think in many cases what's going to happen is it's going to be a lot of cowardice coming out of the woodwork there, and it would either be you would have some of these people that have already kind of befriended a lot of the prisoners is what it is there, where they would just simply like team up with the prisoners and stuff like that, and they would all walk out together. Or potentially they think they would be teaming up for the prisoners. One of the other prisoners just walks up with like a fucking, you know, battery pack or a shiv or something like that, and just, you know, starts shanking the fucking CO is what it is then, or, you know, pack a couple batteries in the sock and just fucking slocks their asses on the head or whatever it is there. And yeah, basically just, you know, then the rest of the prisoners go out of there and do whatever then. And I believe, truthfully speaking, that what you're going to end up having is a situation where you're going to have a lot of individuals realize very quickly that if, in fact, we are in that kind of a situation, you're going to actually have a lot of gangs that are in prisons that potentially would be escapees and stuff. They would be the ones that would take over certain places and stuff like that. And specifically, like I said, with the claim guys there, you would have groups like that would be legit murderers, pedophiles, etc., rapists, all stuff like that. And you can't tell me if there's a good-looking chick that's pretty dense in the head is what it is, dude. They're not just gonna fucking take her and abuse the shit out of her is what it is. I mean, hell, we kind of saw that in the I believe it was first episode of the first season of Black Summer. There was like about a 5-minute sorry about that. Lost signal for a minute there. I'm guessing it's the storms and stuff around here this week is what it is. Anyway, as I was saying, before my feed cut there, yeah, it was like the first episode, first season of Black Summer, and you had this. It was like a 5-minute go between where it was basically the lead character Rose. I think this was after she was separated from her family, is what it was, and then it was some other woman and her daughter that were like at a car or whatever. I think they were trying to get the car started or getting like a tire fixed or whatever on there is what it was there. Like changing a flat or whatever themselves. And then later on, a few minutes later, after Rose is like going to try to find whoever to help her out is what it is there, you have that same young girl who's like, I don't know, probably like anywhere from like 10 to 14, give or take. And her mother's nowhere to be seen, but in the car with her is a bunch of dudes that could look like a bunch of gang of guys is what it is, like legit like gangbanger types is what it is there, but they're obviously like be like motorcycle gangbanger kind of dudes is what it'd be. And yeah, I would not be least surprised if you got shit like that, honestly, dude, where it's basically just like, you know, small groups of guys just, you know, stealing a car and then fucking, you know, grabbing some chick off the fucking street or whatever the case be, and sort of making her their bitch for a while before, you know, they're just done with her ass and then, you know, sort of throw her away in a fucking ditch like a piece of garbage, basically, is what it would be then. And I feel like that's what would happen with these people like Bangs, etc. there, dude. Is you'd have chicks like that are like very fucking dumb, honestly, have very low IQ, very low intelligence, what it is entirely, are obviously, you know, doing their whorish behaviors, what it is, they're on OnlyFans or whatever the case be, like they're, you know, literal fucking cash app of choice, basically, is what it is there, whether it be that or, and there's a couple other ones like Fansly and shit like that's what it is. I feel like there's a couple other ones besides that too. I can't think of offhand. I don't really know names of what it is. I only know the first two would be OnlyFans and Fansly then, but because that's the ones I've heard people is what it is there. But yeah, so you basically have those two, and I think there's like 3 or 4 other ones honestly out there at this point. There's so many of these apps that come popping up ever so often, dude, for, you know, just people to make money and stuff. Literally just selling their bodies, what it really is at the end of the day. Because let's be honest with ourselves, dude. If you look at most of this shit, whether it be OnlyFans or whatever the case be, it's all legal prostitution in this country. That's exactly what it is at the end of the day. It's the 2023 version of prostitution in this nation. You know, prostitution, literally the oldest job, oldest profession in the country. You know, before there was anything else, there was people literally selling themselves to make fucking money. Usually it was females selling their bodies for whatever. Sometimes it was actual dudes selling themselves into like labor and shit like that, whether it be like a variation of like slavery or involuntary servitude or whatever the case be there, etc., etc. And obviously that was all pre-America too, for that matter. There was a series, I forget what it was called a while ago. I want to say it was Nat Geo or somebody did it. And I think it only lasted like 1 season or something. It was actually good though. And that's the problem. It was actually a decent series, but it was like, I think cost so much to produce is what it was. That they're just like, yeah, we're not producing another season of this show is what it is then. But basically the gist of it was supposed to be set in like, it was either the late 1500s or early 1600s, like Puritan times in this country, like pilgrims and stuff. And it was like one of these first settlements or whatever in one of the original, what would have been the original 13 colonies in this country then or whatever. And it was basically, you had these two dudes that were sort of like brought over on a ship from, I think it was Britain or whatever, or England or whatever, you know, UK country of choice there was that we were fighting against in 1776. They were brought over, though, to basically be involuntary servants to this guy is what it was. And it was after, like, I think 3 or 5 years they would get out of servitude or whatever. Or so they were told. And then it turns out, like, yeah, they were just lifetime slaves, basically, is what it was there, dude, for this guy. And then eventually one dude kills the other guy is what it is then. So, anyway. But, yeah, that being said, though, it's interesting when you start looking at it from that perspective of things, though, because what you have is a situation there where you have these chicks nowadays who are, you know, moderately good looking. They might not be 10s, obviously. I don't think a lot of them are actually. Like, obviously, they call themselves 10s, but if you look at it from that perspective of things, it would basically be, I would say 7 to 8, maybe at best, for a lot of these females like that have been on that whatever podcast. And even then, like, it's varying degrees of that. You can have a lot that are lower than that, obviously, like 4 or 5s, maybe 6s at most. Pretty much average is what it is. And that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being average, dude. Like, you know, I don't know what people would rate me looks-wise. Honestly, I really don't care for that matter, you know. Doesn't matter to me, honestly, dude. Because, again, I'm not shallow and vain like that is what it is. So, I could be a 1, I could be a 2, I could be a 0 for some people, honestly. I'd go fuck, honestly, man. But what I think is sad, though, is going to what I heard recently, actually, here. It was, I believe, World News last night. They were talking about it. Or maybe it was one of the local news stations, actually, where they were talking about, I guess there's been a study released here in the last couple of weeks now that talked about how there are now more 40-year-old people in America that are unmarried than ever in history of this country. And the majority of them are men. And it's like, it makes sense, honestly, from that perspective of what I've been talking about this last 20 minutes or so, where you have these females that will go out there, they'll have those crazy high body counts, etc., dude, where it's like, you know, fucking every Tom, Dick, Harry, Tyrone, Chad, etc. on the fucking block. And, you know, rack up, you know, 30, 40, 50 guys by the time they're like 25, 30, whatever it is. And then be like, or actually it could be a hell of a lot more than that. It could be like 150 by the time they're like 30 years old. And then be like, I want to settle down with some good man. Why is there no good men around anymore? It's like, because you never fucking went with one of these good men when you were like 23. And you should have actually been legitimately getting married at that age, if not a little bit younger, even for that matter. And having a child. And then having another child. And having another child, etc. And that's the one thing that did piss me the fuck off last night about Kiko's ass. Was she was bitching about, like, oh, poor people shouldn't have kids, and there's a lot of people who shouldn't have kids, etc. Fuck that, man, no. If you're an American citizen right now, dude, a legit American citizen in this country, you should be popping out kids like fucking crazy, dude. You need to be outbreeding the fucking third worlders at this point in this country's history, honestly, dude. I mean that seriously. That's the problem right now. All these fucking pieces of shit that have no business being in this country right now, that are from the fucking third world, etc. there, dude. Whether it be, you know, fucking Somalia or some other African nation, or whether it be fucking Middle East or whatever the case, we keep bringing people in from those places, or hell, could be, you know, Nicaragua, Guatemala, El Salvador, etc. there. They're outbreeding like fucking crazy. They're breeding like goddamn rabbits in this country, dude. It's why you have these demographical shifts like fucking crazy. When going back to, you know, 65 Hart-Celler Act, the Immigration Act 65, there's what it was. You had those scumbags Hart and Celler legitimately be like, oh, there's never going to be a demographic shift in the United States of America. Within like 15 years or something, there was, dude. And it was because that shit basically helped create fucking chain migration in the 80s, what it was then. Under Reagan's piece of shit ass. That's why I fucking hate Ronald Reagan so much, by the way. Like, people, that's why I fucking, like, seriously cannot stand about my aunt and uncle down in Florida, dude. They would suck Reagan's dick so fucking hard for decades of my childhood, man. I'm just like, this guy was a fucking asshole. He fucked over our gun rights in this country. His piece of shit presidency directly led to fucking Hughes Amendment of 86. His dumbass fucking administration legitimately led to the basically delusion of mental institutions in this country, you know, state hospitals and stuff like that. Now, granted, those didn't be overhauled at the time because you had a bunch of fucking like decrepit, what was I gonna say? Yeah, decrepit and decaying facilities there is what it was. That basically just needed a whole bunch of money thrown into them and either updated or, you know, torn down and rebuilt is what it would be then. But that's the problem. You still needed to have these facilities in this country. But instead they're like, no, let's shut them all down and fucking, you know, leave them to decay or just, you know, bulldoze them down, whatever it was at that point. And because of all that shit, now you have all these fucking nuts walking around, you know, open air drug markets, open air fucking insane asylums in California, Washington State, Oregon, etc. there. And not only that, but then on top of that, you have these fucking nut jobs being used as useful idiots in these states that could have ballot harvesting in them, which is super illegal, by the way, in most states for that matter. You know, because it's literally voter fraud at that point. Have their shit be used to basically elect the biggest fucking piece of shit, scumbag, corrupt criminal into power then. And it's almost always a Democrat. And then you wonder why our country's so fucked over, dude. You know, and that's the one thing that Andrew guy brought up at the very end before he left the cast around 2 a.m. Tonight is what it was he was like, I forget exactly what he said, but it was basically to that Bangs girl, if I'm not mistaken. And she was like, oh, this, and that. And he's like, and this is exactly why we have societal decay right now, because of pieces of shit like you, basically, is what it is. And he's not wrong about that, dude. And like I said, going full circle back to what I was talking about a little bit ago here, like, this is why you're going to see, like, gangs of felony convicts in this country, whether they be broken out of prison, etc., or they break out on their own after the society collapses. These are going to be the guys that are going to form small gangs and just go on rape sprees and shit like that, dude, is what it'll be. And that's a scary fact right there, dude, because, you know, you think about it, like how close you are to like any kind of state prison or any kind of federal prison for that matter, man. Like, you as an American are going to be the first line of defense against these criminals, dude. And you better be a damn good shot, honestly. And you better hope you have a group of people with you, potentially, to do so, for that matter, dude, and take care of that fucking criminal, take care of the criminals before they get out of hand, is what it'll be then, man. Because otherwise, you're going to have that fucking mob be taking over your town and stuff like that, is what it'll be. And it might be your, you know, wife, mother, sister, daughter, whatever the case be, they're taking then. So, anyway, it's a scary thought to think about, honestly. And not to mention, like, you know, God forbid grid goes down. How many people, like, I don't know if people ever, like, do this or not, dude. I know there are apps out there, you can look them up and stuff like that, where you can, like, check. It's in, like you put in your address or area code, whatever it is there. And it's like how many registered sex offenders are within your area there is what it is. Now, granted, I'm not saying every single one of these people is a pedophile, obviously, because most are not, actually. Most of them are just, like, low-level sex offenses, like, you know, fucking caught masturbating in public or something like that. Or it was, like, something similar to that, for that matter. Like peeping Tom shit, basically. Or it's, you know, like some chick's on there because she, you know, got drunk and decided to piss in a Walmart parking lot at 3 a.m. or something like that. And there was, like, some random people that saw it. Now she's on the fucking registry because she was within, like, some facility that happened to be, you know, I forget exactly how they put it. It was like 1,000, I think it's like 1,000 people at school or something like that kind of deal is what it is there. Or if you do like an act like that with like 1,000 people at school or whatever it is, like, you can be considered like sex offender then at that point then. It's like real fucking stupid is what it is, dude. And again, it's just more proof of exactly why our laws need to be overhauled in this country entirely. And like I said before, there needs to be two different things. There needs to be a sex offense registry and a sex offender registry. Sex offense registry would be everything that's not fucking, you know, actual pedophiles and stuff like that, or rapists for that matter. And the other one is just for little rapists and pedophiles, would be then. And those would be people we know a lot of persons would be then again. Like, it would be like, this is where, like, if you look up that registry, it would be just like, yeah, this person is currently incarcerated at, you know, whatever the fuck penitentiary in whatever the hell state is what it would be then. So, and if it's something where, you know, somehow they would escape, it would be, you know, immediate, like, triggering alerts, and that's what it would be. And that's the only reason that registry would exist to begin with, would be there. So, anywho, but yeah, the sex offense one would be for the low level shit. This would be like, you know, like pissing in public or something like that kind of deals would be there. So, anyway, what was I saying again then? Oh, yeah, about the whole, people. Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, in some cases, you might have some of these dudes that would be part of these gangs and stuff. Like, they wouldn't be, like, just, like, totally insane or whatever the case be. And so they might not, kill these chicks or murk them out or whatever the case be within, like, a couple days or whatever. They might keep them around for a few weeks or a few months or something like that. And it might be something similar to that series Black Sails, where you had the one girl who was a prostitute, ironically enough, in that show, and then she was trying to basically make moves to get like higher up in life, is what it was there, to basically be something else, is what it was. I feel like at the end of that show, she was actually like a brothel owner or something, and then some other shit too, if I'm not mistaken, because they were all making like deals to basically have like a cut at some giant fortune, is what it was there, or whatever. And yeah, but in that early stages of that show, though, she was making like this bad deal, whatever the case be, and you just had like this whole pirate ship of dudes basically keeping her as essentially their fuck toy, is what it was. And you could easily have some stuff like that too, I think, happen in this situation as well, for that matter. And I think you're going to have some of that happen legitimately, and maybe some of these chicks escape. Maybe they actually do get a little bit smarter. Maybe they do get kind of savvy, as it would be then. And, it could be, like I've said several times on this channel, it could be like the Rosita from The Walking Dead kind of situation there, where it's, she starts out whoring herself to any man she can, basically, for protection, etc. there. And then eventually she comes into her own because she starts gaining knowledge. She starts gaining, real skills, etc. And eventually she actually becomes what I would consider to be an alpha female at that point, because she's able to basically go at an alpha male like Abraham and realize, like, oh, this man's my equal, because in that case, he sees you as an equal too, for that matter, because he understands that, yeah, you're pretty hardcore now, is what it is. And that's the thing. I feel like that the real problem is, and it's something that even that Bangs girl brought up in this whatever podcast tonight then, was how she was talking about masculine females, and it was because you had too many beta males or whatever, like creating masculine females. That's not the whole fucking issue there, is what it is, lady. If you look further down the rabbit hole of that shit, a lot of it has to do with the fact that you have all these chemicals in our fucking food supply and water supply, for that matter, that are turning men very fucking feminine. It's like Alex Jones talked about with the tetrazine and stuff like that. It's, it's the water is turning the freaking frogs gay. Because it's true at that point, man. It is. I believe, or no, sorry, not tetrazine. It was atrazine, is what it was called, if I'm not mistaken. I think tetrazine is something else too, if I'm not mistaken, though. But yeah, I believe it was atrazine is what it was called, though. And it was actually a dude that was I forget what college it was. He was a professor at the college, and it was him leading a group of scientists there, is what it was, to do a whole thing, because they were realizing that when they went out to the wild and stuff like that, they were finding bullfrogs, is what it was there, near, I believe it was chemical runoff from a lot of water treatment plants across this country, like major cities and stuff like that. And they were seeing a bunch of these male frogs trying to mount other male frogs, is what it was there. And they're like, wait a minute, why are you having a male frog try to fuck another male frog when they should be trying to fuck a female frog? And then they started testing their, amphibian bodies and stuff like that with like blood tests and whatever else then. And that's when they found like these chemicals in their systems, what it was there. So, and not to mention, like I said, with all the food supply and everything else, all the chemical additives and everything else added to our food all the time, is what it is. And, how many things in American, even a grocery store in America here, how many things in like a bag of chips, or, well, specifically a bag of Doritos or whatever it is there, or some Cheetos or whatever it is there, man. How many things are in that are chemically banned in places like the UK specifically? Like, it just blows your mind, honestly, dude. And then you wonder, when you have little kids eating this shit, from like the age of like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, whatever it is, to like the time they're like 15 or whatever, and going through puberty, like, especially young males and stuff, when they're eating all that soy and everything else that's in everything, is what it seems like. And why they start developing like, sort of female breasts and never going through male puberty until they're like, 15, 16 years old, is what it is there. When they should have already hit puberty at like 11, 12, 13, something like that, is what it is. Or even worse on that one, where you have these young females who are, drinking that water and eating that food and stuff like that, who at the age of, 7, 8, 9 years old, maybe 10, 11 at the latest is what it would be then in many cases, they start going through really early puberty is what it is then. And then you wonder why you have these kids that are just like, like so disproportionately fucked is what it is there. And then, of course, you have this rise in pedophilia now across our country, it seems like, from all these fucking pedo-ass teachers, what it is there, talking about gender pronouns and fucking math classes and everything else like that. And then you have them, like, sexualizing the kids and then trying to fucking, bang the kids. And I swear to God, dude, it seems like every fucking day. It's either one of two different stories that I see pop up in my X feed. There's what it is, where it's either some fucking drag queen / pedo teacher trying to fuck some kids, or it's B, it's you have a bunch of teachers trying to sexualize in the fucking classroom is what it is. I was actually going through my feed here a little bit ago before I started this cast tonight is what it was. And I forget, was that Ian Miles Chong guy or who it was that was posting it? And it was some fucking female teacher. She has on this, it's basically like a little like sweatshirt thing or whatever. But then she has on like some legit leather pants, dude. And looking at the classroom around her, it's like probably like 3rd or 4th grade classroom. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing wearing leather pants to school, bitch? Like, what the hell are you trying? Like, are you trying to fucking shake your big fat ass in front of a bunch of fucking 8 to 10-year-old kids, you sicko? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you, ho? Like, what is mentally fucked in your head right now is what it is, lady. And that's the problem right now, I think, is what it is, dude. And a lot of it has to go fully back to the fatherless home behavior in this country, where there's a bunch of single mother households, no dad to speak of, no uncle to speak of, no fucking father figure in these kids' lives at all, especially these young females at that point. And then they wonder why you have no fucking, they push the boundaries so fucking far to where it's like, oh no, it's perfectly okay to do this shit around fucking kids. It's like, no, it's not, bitch. No, it's fucking not. 300, 400, 500 years ago, you'd have a fucking scarlet letter on your chest at that point, bitch. That they would literally rip your fucking, like, whatever it was, like your petticoat or whatever the hell it was back then, and they would brand your ass with a fucking scarlet letter at that point, dude. So, and then you'd be walking down the streets in fucking shame. And they'd be like, shame, shame, shame. So, anyway. But, nah, for real though, man. It's just, we are so fucked as a country, I think, honestly. And we're definitely heading towards a fourth turning right now, where it's the whole, we've already gone through the first 3 phases, basically, where it's, you have strong men create good times create weak men, and now we're in the weak men create hard times time period currently. And we're at the very beginning of that part is what it is, dude, with the weak men creating hard times is what it is there. And I believe it's just going to get harder and harder as the days and weeks go by here in the coming year. And eventually it's going to be that time where you have strong men rise up again and take the lead. And you're going to have a complete societal shift then, to where all the societal decay we're seeing right now of all these OnlyFans whores, etc. there are basically told, fuck you, cunt. And legitimately, it's complete ostracization from the society is what it'll be, man. Like that rebuild phase, I believe it'll definitely be based around various religious stuff. Whether that be Christianity, whether that be Islam finally achieving their goal to take over entirely, etc. Who's to say? But I believe that something will happen there where it'll be some kind of religious something or other happening in the time period there. And you'll be having, it might be going back to like full Puritan times in this country, honestly. I know there's a lot of chicks out there always bitching about like the whole like fucking, what is it, Handmaid's Tale, Gilead shit or whatever there. But what they don't realize is even the chick that created that book basically freely admitted at one time, which is they try to base that shit on Christianity because they know they can shit on Christians what it is. because she know if she did Islam, which is actually what it's really based on, that they would have murked her ass out within 10 minutes of what it is, dude. Because if you look at everything she pushes in that, and if you actually watch a TV series that they based on that book series, then it's legitimately Islamic Sharia law stuff, dude. Across the board. It's exactly what you're seeing over Middle Eastern countries right now, what they're trying to pull here in America and some states and stuff like that. It's just wild shit, man, honestly. That people just don't see the correlation and, you know, the causation, etc. There is what it is. And how it's already happening here and there and every place else. And it's just like, it's just not what you think it is what it is. It's something totally different, man. Because you refuse to actually acknowledge the other things what it is there. It's just like how you have going full circle back to the beginning of this whole cast, where you had Brian there from the Whatever Podcast talking about fucking DHS labeling the Whatever Podcast and like a bunch of other people. It was like Fit and whatever there and like a couple of people like that by name and stuff as like dangerous entities and masculine fucking incel creation shit or whatever the case be. Yet meanwhile, the real terror threat in this country is fucking Islam, dude. It's Islam, and it's a completely open southern border and completely open northern border for that matter. You know, it's not just Mexico, United States they're pouring through every day, dude. It's fucking US-Canada border too, where you can have Islam from up there fucking come down upon us what it is, dude. You know, death from above the gliders would be there. Fucking October 7th styles would be, man. And we're not even bothering to secure either one of these borders what it is, dude. And it's like, what the fuck, man? You know, like, how do you even expect to have a nation without strong borders and strong border protection is what it is? Like, it really just blows me away completely. And like I said, this is what I believe the whole thing that's coming right now, whether it be the whole, you know, Great Reset 2030 agenda stuff. It's all by design, legitimately. It's by the powers that should not be. It's by the fucking the World Economic Forums of the world, the Bilderbergs of the world, the people that make them up, the George Soroses, Jacob Rothschilds, the Rockefeller family, the royal family, etc. that are all part of it. And I think it's just a matter of time right now, honestly, before we just see this country just fall completely is what it is, man. And the thing is, once the U.S. falls to potential dictatorships, dude, like, watch out, because it's going to be that fucking complete domino effect where any of these other countries, whether it be, you know, United Kingdom, England, Britain, whatever the case be, you know, Sweden, that are already kind of being taken over by Islam right now. It's like, as soon as the fucking U.S. domino dictatorship comes into place and the domino falls and stuff like that, it's just going to be all the way down, dude. And like, prepare for having no rights in all of those countries. It would be, man. Like, it'd be fucking Chinese social credit scores across the board right now. It'd be full blown demolition man features. It would be at that point. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be goddamned if I let that shit take place, dude, at that point. And I'll tell you what, I'm not the only one that's going to say that shit, dude. I'm not the only one to do something about that, honestly. I would rather die, literally die, a free man with a fucking gun in my hand than ever live under a goddamn dictatorship in this fucking country that I grew up in, dude. Fuck that. It would be like that beginning of the movie Red Dawn, where you have the old man, where he has the bumper sticker on the truck, and it says, "From my cold dead hands," and then you literally have I think it's a Russian soldier, if I'm not mistaken, like stomping on his fucking wrist and ripping out the fucking 1911 from his hand then. That would be me, man. I'm going down swinging, motherfuckers. And I'm saying that right now, honestly. I have no problem saying that right now. And I believe there's a lot of Americans that follow my exact same ideology right now is what it is. And mentality is what it would be there. We are the true patriots of this country. We will never let this country fall to fucking foreign outsider influence, to fucking scumbags literally trying to destroy us from the inside out, creating fucking foreign standing armies, etc., dude. Which is exactly why we're seeing all these fucking military-age males every single day flow across the fucking open borders, what it is there. Because they're literally creating a foreign standing army in every single state right now. It's exactly where you have Soros, NGOs, etc. out there, literally funding along with the UN, these fuckers' ability to come into our nation right now with some kind of gift card or whatever it is, it gets re-uploaded every month is what it is there. And having them literally be given a fucking set of instructions of like, okay, you go over here to New York City or New York State or whatever it is there. You go over here to some rural area in Georgia. You go over here to some place in Ohio. You go over there to some place in Michigan. You go over there to some place in Indiana. You guys go down here to Kentucky or Tennessee or whatever it is then. You guys go over here to Illinois. You know? It's to literally destabilize our fucking nation. And this is what pisses me off so fucking much about Republican governors in this country, dude. None of them have any fucking balls at all. DeSantis' dumbass is sitting there trying to run for the fucking presidency instead of leading a fucking coalition at this point, being the leadership out of fucking Florida to lead a coalition of GOP governors to be like, no, we're not putting up with this shit in our fucking states, dude. And being like, we will systematically hunt these motherfuckers down or remove them from our fucking soil, period. End of story. That is exactly what he and other people should be doing right now. In positions of power, whether it be him, Mike DeWine, whether it be fucking the incoming governor in Louisiana there, etc. Every single one of these people should be leading the fucking charge to deal with this shit. But instead, what are they doing? Middle of the fucking night, they're signing in bullshit executive orders as governors. I'm not saying DeSantis is doing this, but I know for a fact DeWine's piece of shit ass in the past. Signing fucking middle of the night fucking bullshit to bring in a bunch of fucking Somalis, to bring in, well, specifically John Casey did that one actually. But yeah, DeWine's done ones where he's brought in Afghanis, is what it is here to Ohio, without our fucking consent as voters in the state at all. Casey did it with fucking Somali terrorist population there, and that's down in Columbus right now. Hell, like there's a reason why you have fucking legitimately this past week or so. See if I can find it here real quick. Why you have the assholes in Minnesota now that has the biggest Somali terrorist population in this fucking nation right now. It's also Ilhan Omar's fucking district, by the way. Changing the old Minnesota flag to this new bullshit Minnesota flag that is legitimately fucking Omar's home nation of Somalia. It's like her little fucking district area, Somalia or whatever is there, dude. Which is called, let me see if I can grab it up here real quick. Yeah, it's called Puntland State of Somalia. That's what their flag looks like there. And then you go back to the other ones. There's piece of shit Omar fucking hanging out in their shithole nation of origin. And then there's the fucking new bullshit Minnesota flag there, dude. Looks almost exactly like fucking Omar's home country. But because, the old flag of Minnesota was racist against Native Americans, blah, blah, blah. So what'd you have? You had 11 fucking assholes, and I actually read a story about this yesterday. You had a 12-person panel, no fucking vote, by the way, because apparently the fucking retards of Minnesota have no referendum, no ability to actually do voter-approved amendments or whatever the case be for the kind of stuff. So instead, you had a panel of 12 fucking appointed assholes that should have never had any power to begin with, 11 of which were like, okay, cool, we'll have this new fucking flag now. Fuck y'all. Every single one of your fucking 11 asses should be thrown the fuck out of that state and thrown the fuck out of this country entirely. And it's as simple as that, dude. And be literally on a terrorist watch list the rest of your fucking worthless ass lives, what it is then. Like I said, I've really just had it, man. And then, of course, you got another story I want to talk about before we leave here today, which is you got the piece of shit Supreme Court of Colorado, state Supreme Court is what it is there, voting 4-3, which I'm not sure exactly what the makeup of their court is. I'm guessing it's either 4-3 majority Democrat, or maybe it's like 5-2 majority Democrat, something like that. Democracy under attack. Colorado Supreme Court disqualifies Trump in 2024 ballot. Court rules Trump engaged in an insurrection. Then you had Vivek Ramaswamy saying, quote, I will withdraw from Colorado State primary with Trump not allowed on the ballot. Like, good for Vivek actually having the balls, dude, is what it is. Like, dude actually has balls, is what it is, man. Seriously. To do some stuff there is what it is. Yeah, gotta love that one in the corner there. You got the fucking piece of shit dude angry about staffer appeared in gay sex film in a Senate hearing room. And you got adults in charge, top 9 degenerate Democrat scandals under Biden. Obviously, that one was that piece of shit trainee Rose Montoya, who was showing his fake tits on the fucking White House lawn during Pride there. It's fucking disgusting, dude. That person's also been banned for life, by the way, since then, which is kind of fucking hilarious if you think about that. So, but yeah, as I said here in this article, it said, I do disagree with what Vivek said here because he was talking about attack on democracy. Again, you specifically, Vivek, have talked about it in the past, brother, with the U.S. Constitution being a constitutional republic. We're not a democracy, dude. We never have been. We never will be. What we are is a constitutional republic that, because of things like the 19th, 26th Amendments, etc., have a democratic voting process in our constitutional republic. But we're not a democracy. That's a big difference there. By technical definition, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic because we have actual constitutional rights that government cannot take away from us. So it is there. But yeah, so what is this? An actual attack on democracy looks like, and an un-American, unconstitutional, unprecedented decision a cabal of Democrat judges are barring Trump from ballot in Colorado. Said having tried every trick in the book to eliminate President Trump from running in the actual things that is there. So, yeah, just a bunch of shit entirely, dude. I do kind of want to see what Biden's scandals are now, like the whole adults in charge thing there. So, let's see. Adults in charge, Biden's degenerate scandals. Let's see, it said after Biden was elected, wasn't elected at all. He was fucking cheated in the White House, is what it is there. But you got number 1, Democrat staffer having gay sex in the Senate. Number 2, porn webcam Democrat Virginia Senate candidate Susanna Gibson, which is fucking hilarious because that bitch was also a Moms Demand Action endorsed hoe is what it was there. So she was all anti-gunner too, for that matter. Then we got number 3, baggie of cocaine found inside the White House. Number 4, trans influencer Rose Montoya flashes fake tits at White House picnic. That also had kids, by the way. Yes, it's just a month before Cocaine Gate. A trans influencer at the Pride event at the White House flashed his fake tits at White House event that was also hosting children. Trans influencer Rose Montoya pulled down his dress and grabbed the fake boobs, showing from video that was widely spread on social media sites. White House was forced to condemn the act and ban Montoya from ever visiting again. We got number 5, Navy enlists drag queen influencer to recruit more soldiers. Or wait, that's a 10. Yeah, I'm at 5. And number 5 was the Navy thing. Number 6, Democrat mayor arrested on child porn-related charges who happened to be butt plug Mayor Pete's fucking best buddy. This jerk off right here was Pete Buttigieg's best friend there. Let's see, number 7, non-binary Biden senior official and BDSM practitioner caught stealing luggage. This fucking nut job right here. And then we got Army Colonel exposed in pup play. Said in December 2022 it was exposed that an Army Colonel had taken photos of himself in uniform and a dog mask, including in what appeared to be an official Army photo. An account called something or other there exposed the Colonel, which has since been retired. The retired colonel had numerous photos of himself in a dog mask uniform posing with junior service members. Army said it was investigating photos, but the outcome of that investigation was never known. The fuck is wrong with these people, man? I never understood this shit. Like, what the fuck is with these dog masks, dude? It's just weird. It's just weird shit in general. I remember watching stuff with mom a while. Like Paul Joseph Watson actually was the one that was talking about it here about a year or two ago now, where he was talking about like this weird ass, like, I don't know if it's like BDSM or what exactly it is, but it's basically like this like dog / like horse play or something, where these people can go out there and buy those little dog masks, but they can also buy like these weird like fake horse masks and stuff. And we were laughing at the fucking video because of how absurd and insane it was, dude. Like, it was legitimately like mental patients just running around a fucking yard acting like horses and shit, dude. And you had like these grown-ass men in most cases putting on a fucking fake horse mask. And they had like the reins and stuff put around their necks and stuff like that, or whatever it was. And then they had some woman or whatever in a little cart and they were like wheeling her ass around. And I'm just like, Jesus, fuck it. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, again, going full circle back to the whatever stuff. This is the social decay of our society. This is the Sodom and Gomorrah shit, honestly, that God himself sent archangels down to fucking smite out of existence, dude. You know, if you want to go to the supernatural side of it, from the show Supernatural, it would be Castiel literally walking up to people and like doing his fucking hand like that, and it's just like fucking white eyes going dead. Because they're all blacked out basically at the end of it. So people being like, oh shit, and it's like the fucking white just coming out of their mouth and eyes and stuff like that because they're literally being killed. Like, that's the kind of smiting would happen there. Anyway, going back to the rest of these though, which was the ninth and final one there, you had Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is a known mass murderer of the elderly in New York State. He should have been already literally brought up on crimes community charges along with Kathy Hochul for the amount of New Yorkers they mass murdered in 2020 when she was lieutenant governor there. It said was faced accusation of sex misconduct in 2021 and then resigned from office. And then we got Democrat scandals predating Biden. So there was also no shortage of Democrat sex scandals predating Biden's administration. December 2020. Axios revealed that a Chinese Communist Party spy named Fang Fang literally was fucking Eric Sowell, which should have been the end of Eric Sowell's career and him not being out of prison after that then, because this fucker should literally be brought up on high treason charges right now. And we also got March 2020, former Democrat Florida governor candidate Andrew Gilliam was found inebriated, so drunk as fuck, in a Miami Beach hotel room with a man who had overdosed. We got 2019, Representative Katie Hill, Democrat of California, was revealed to have been engaged in a throuple with then-husband and former female staffer, where she was literally brushing this girl's fucking hair, by the way, and then I remember that happening, actually, where it was literally like her sitting there naked brushing this fucking other chick's hair is what it was. It was just weird. So, yeah, then we got other famous Democrats embroiled in sex scandals, include former Rep. Anthony Weiner, who was busted for sending women sexually suggestive photos of himself in underwear. Embattled Senator Bob Mendez, who has faced accusations of not paying prostitutes and patronizing underage prostitutes as well, for that matter. So he's little fucking kids. Then we got New York Governor Elliot Spitzer resigned in 2008 after it was revealed that he had patronized a prostitution ring. And, of course, former President Bill Clinton was impeached after the Monica Lewinsky scandal in 98. So, yeah, Democrats are scumbags, dude, is what it is, legitimately. Some of the most degenerate fucks on earth, really, is what it is, dude. So... actually, going back to what I was talking about GOP governors, etc., fighting back. Greg Abbott, I will give him some props. He's not the best governor ever, but he's getting shit. He's starting to get shit done here, is what it seems like. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signs bill making illegal migrant entry from Mexico a state crime. Now, granted, will it actually be enforced or not? Because that's the real question: is will the cops actually enforce this or not? I highly doubt it, unfortunately. Yeah, so Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill making Texas the first state in the union to give law enforcement officers the authority to arrest illegals who entered the border into the state. Said the measure, Senate Bill 4, was signed into law on Monday during a ceremony at the base of the border wall in Brownsville, Texas, which is where NEA and them are from. His family lives in that area. It says the bill, in part, is a package of measures designed to decrease the flow of illegals entering the state of Texas from Mexico. So Texas state legislature passed the bills during 2 special sessions this fall. It said Governor Abbott was joined at the bill signing ceremony by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who was all against weed and everything else like that. National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd, Adjutant General of Texas, not even sure what the fuck that is, Major General Thomas something or other, Texas Border Czar Mike Banks, Senator Pat Flores, Senator Joan Huffman, Senator Charles Perry, Representative Ryan Gulliam, Representative J.C. Jetton, Representative Dave Spiller, Representative Mano to something or other, Representative Stan Kritzman, Representative Janie Lopez, and other border officials. Said House Speaker Dade Fillon was not present for the historic event. Of course he wasn't, because Dade Fillon is a fucking sack of dog shit who was trying to lead the Ken Paxton impeachment, because he himself, this little fucking douchebag right here, this motherfucker right there, is the asshole who tried to fuck over Ken Paxton, because, shocker, Dade is a fucking Bushy boy. He's George Bush's bitch, basically, is what it is. And it was him and these other fuck knuckle rhinos there in Texas that were trying to get Jeb Bush's son into the Texas AG's office last year and failed hard to do so. And that's why they should all be facing impeachment right now. They're in Texas, is what it is. So, yeah, I'll call out rhinos when I see them, dude, legitimately. Anyways, the Senate Bill 4 from Special Session Number 4 makes illegal entry into Texas from a foreign country a criminal offense. The law is the latest attempt in the state to crack down on illegals entering the state of Texas at any point of entry. So by creating an offense of illegal re-entry, offenders can be penalized with sentences up to 20 years in prison. It should just be a death penalty at that point, dude. Texas still has hanging, by the way. I'm just going to point that out. So it also provides the mechanism in order for an offender to return to a foreign nation from which they entered or attempted to enter the state. Said law enforcement. The law provides civil immunity and indemnification for local and state officials, employees, and contractors for lawsuits resulting from enforcing these provisions. So the law is similar to a current federal statute under Title 8 of the United States Code 1325, which makes illegal entry in the United States a misdemeanor. Should be a death penalty felony, by the way. Especially, well, not as a first offense, obviously, but like, multiple reentries and stuff like that. And of course, if you're already a criminal and stuff like that, should definitely be death penalty sentences. Not that be the case. Yeah, it's a misdemeanor for the first offense and a felony for second offense. That felony should be life imprisonment or death penalty, honestly. So under current administration, federal statute is not pursued to any significant degree, because of course it's not, dude, because that's the whole point. They're trying to make... This is the whole fucking point, dude. They're bringing in these illegals every single day in their country because they want them to take over in states like California, like New York, etc., that will give them state IDs so they can illegally vote in U.S. elections and create massive voter fraud in 2024 is what it is, which is exactly what I've said for years now, basically since that piece of shit Sherrod Brown cheese went back in the U.S. Senate in 2018. We will never have free and fair elections ever again in this country. End of fucking story. It's as simple as that, really. So, anywho. Let's see. Hang on, I'm going to get some water because my throat's starting to dry out. Yeah, let's see where I'm at now. Yeah, so also similar to proceedings carried on under federal law, illegals may agree to return to their home country as part of a sentencing agreement. So the process in federal courts is known as stipulated deportation, where a previously deported migrant waives his right to a separate immigration hearing and agrees to removal as part of their sentencing process. So the state of Texas has also increased penalties for other immigration offenses normally reserved to the federal government. Texas legislature passed bills signed by Abbott that create a mandatory 10-year minimum prison sentence for smuggling of persons. So for the coyotes and stuff like that would be. And continuous smuggling of persons. So here's my problem with that right now, right? So it's mandatory 10-year minimum for literally smuggling people is what it is. Again, why is this not immediate death penalty, bro? Like, it should be literal hangings in the state of Texas at that point, man. So, because that would actually send a fucking message for once, for God's sakes. Be like, yeah, fuck around and find out, bitches. Anyway, it said that 10-year minimum sentence and law enhanced criminal penalties for operating a stash house and creates a mandatory 5-year minimum prison sentence for that. Also, further enhances criminal penalties for victim-related offenses that occurred during the commission of smuggling, such as assault and battery. Probably also rape was my guess on that one. It says, bill criminalizing the illegal entry of illegals into Texas is the latest facet of a larger movement to reduce crossings. In 2021, Abbott launched Operation Lone Star, an initiative that involves deploying Texas Department of Public Safety Highway Patrol troopers and Texas Army National Guard soldiers to the border region, except they're always fucked over by Border Patrol and U.S. government officials there that are literally taking fucking, what was it? Like bulldozer things, whatever the case be, and lifting up fucking barbed wire and shit so illegals can just cross underneath is what it is there. It's fucking disgusting. Anyway, said the Operation Lone Star also employs Texas Department of Energy Management to coordinate busing of illegals released to the border by Border Patrol to sanctuary cities further inland, including New York City, Chicago, Denver, etc. So the law will likely face a quick legal challenge by Biden's fake-ass administration, which has taken governors' previous attempts to reduce flow of illegals into court. So the case to decide whether Abbott must remove the floating border buoy barrier installed in the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass is still moving through federal court system, which is absolute bullshit entirely. I'm just so fucking disgusted by all of it, dude. Like, I'm just gonna say it like this right now, right? Truthfully, in a just world, there should be U.S. military down at our border fucking given the go-ahead to just fire on sight at that point, dude. Legitimately. Because this is a foreign invasion every single day into our country. The fact that it's not being treated as such is what's so fucking insane to me. Like, and seriously, any other century in this country right now, 19th century, 18th century, 17th century, etc., our founding fathers, for God's sakes, fought and repelled the British Empire that exact way, dude. And the thing is, it's not like you couldn't set it up in such a way where you're just like, hey, you know, you're within 1,000 feet of the U.S. border right now. Like, turn back now, or we will use lethal force on you, or something like that. And then it's like every, 100 feet or whatever the case be, you just have, and it's multiple languages too, for that matter. It's in English, it's in Spanish, etc. So they can understand it, no matter where they're coming from. You might even be able to put Farsi and shit like that, or any kind of other fucking, whatever there. Any kind of whatever the hell, like French or whatever it is there that they're speaking in various, African countries as well, for that matter. And it would be like, yeah, turn back or get shot, basically, is what it would say. And it's like, yeah, we will, if you, step any further, you will be met with lethal force, is what it is then. And then, all it takes is I think honestly, in many cases, it wouldn't even have to be anybody dying for that matter. You could just have a bullet whizzing by somebody's head, and they'd be like, oh, fuck, they're not kidding around. And they just run the other direction. That's what it'd be. So, Corey and I have had this conversation several times on the back chats and stuff like that before. About the possibility of landmine fields and stuff like that on both sides of the fucking border, then if that be the case. Where it's just written in a bunch of different languages, then it'd be yeah, you were 15 steps away from entering a, active landmine field or something like that. Turn back now or meet your own fate, basically. That's what it would be then. And it might not even be landmines there at all, for that matter. It's just that threat that there could be, honestly. And I think that would do a lot to actually change this fucking country, dude, and actually secure our fucking nation is what it is then. So, I actually remember back in the day, there was the movie Coneheads, where it was, I'm trying to remember what the guy's name is now. Michael McCain, I think that's what the guy, that dude's character in that movie, that was I forget what he was at the time in that, basically a precursor to ICE or something like that is what it was, whatever those people were, the original, agents there, like naturalization agents or whatever it was there. And he was talking. It was like him basically showing like David Spade his like thing to bring up to like the higher ups or whatever it was there, and it was like literally just putting a collar on somebody's neck, and then when they like re-entered the border, it was basically their head just exploding is what it was then. So it's like, you know, I mean, truthfully, we don't do it now with like a collar or anything, dude. You could just basically, you know, it's like that Bilko experiment movie where you just be able to like fucking like chip in somebody's back of their head or whatever the case be, and like just like a tracker inside of it or whatever. Then it's like, yeah, as soon as they would do something, just like click. So, you know, but anyway, I think that would honestly be reserved for the people that are like, you know, legit repeat offenders and gang members, child rapists, etc. Then, so if that ever were to come to be, is what it is there. I'm trying to say, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're fucked as a country, is what it is, though, man. I think it's only a matter of time before you're gonna have U.S. citizens literally having to band together to literally fight fucking 4 national standing armies in this country. And that's a scary thought to think about right now. Now, granted, that being said, I think in many cases, a lot of those coming into our country currently, depending on where they're from, actually, probably don't have previous military experience at all. They just happen to be fighting age, is what it is there. So, and most people are dumb as fuck. And I feel like there's a lot of Americans who have decent IQs and stuff like that, would have decent ability to, you know, deal with these fuckers effectively, is what it would be basically, even as like 1 or 2 Americans versus like an entire squad of these sons of bitches. So, anyway, but anyway, see what the comment section's been saying. Some people were just trying to get at me. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I talked to mom yesterday. Not mom, I talked to my aunt yesterday, who's been with my mom this whole time. And yeah, she's doing a little bit better, it seems like. She still hasn't gotten a chance to get out of bed, unfortunately. Just because of everything. Like, she's still super weak, and they're trying to get her to eat a bunch of pureed food that ain't the greatest, so she'll take a few bites here and there, and then she'll just be like, eh. So she's basically just trying to get her strength back up right now. They're doing baby steps with her right now, and pretty much they're hoping by Christmas Day to have her at least walk out of the bed and to the door, which is like a few steps away or whatever. So hopefully that will happen here in the next like 5-6 days now is what it is. So, but yeah, it's just kind of sucks. Obviously, she had to have a respirator when she was under, and I guess that fucked with her throat / windpipe area, and that's what happened with the whole. I think I mentioned it before with her having. It was something they tried to feed her, went down to her lung or whatever, and it's because it went down her windpipe instead of her actual throat is what it was there, to her stomach area. And that's the biggest problem is she wants certain things that they won't give her because there's a possibility for it to go right down to her throat again, or right past her throat into her windpipe and then down to her lung again. So, yeah, it kind of sucks. But from my understanding, they had to take 2 valves out of her. It was 2 veins actually out of her leg area, I believe is what it was, to create new valves for her heart for 2 of the 3 valves. And then they put some kind of like pig valve in as like a third thing or whatever the case be. So she's now having to adjust to that being in her system now and not reject that crap is what it is. So, which, you know, you would think, honestly, truthfully speaking, dude, like, if you can use a pig valve for like a human heart, like, why can't we just have like a human heart valve be created? Whether it be using 3D printing or something else for that matter, that would actually be easily able to be accepted then. Where you just have like this is the one thing I think we could do, like Terminator stuff, honestly, where it could be like cool stuff like that, basically, where it'd be like almost like a robotic piece of stuff where you just have like liquid metal put over it or whatever then, and that liquid metal would then like become like a human skin variation or something like that. And then you could basically just put that into somebody's system then or something. Like, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that might be the future, honestly, at some point. Of course, probably not in my lifetime, honestly. Probably like 100, 200 years from now, my guess, honestly, or something like that. Like 22nd century kind of shit or something, maybe. So, or no. That'd be the 23rd century now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, because we're already in the... Wait, are we in the 21st century now or 26th? Yeah, I think we're in the 21st century right now is what it is. Because 20th century would have been the 1900 something or other there. Yes, 2000s would have been the 21st century then. So that would be the 23rd century, I believe, would be then. For like 22 something then. So like 22, 25 or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I'm just pretty disgusted by whatever we're seeing right now in this country, dude, and just seems like every fucking day something worse is happening. So who the hell knows anymore? Yeah, and then, of course, going back to the whole Trump disqualification BS in Colorado, there you got Mad Cow Rachel Maddows. If SCOTUS sides with Colorado, Trump could be disqualified in multiple states. I'm not saying that this would be a direct cause towards a civil war in this country if they tried to fuck him over like that, but I think it would definitely be a precursor to something, though. I think it would be one of the last barriers in this nation, honestly, for a lot of pissed off Americans right now to not be putting up with shit anymore is what it is, dude. Maybe there'd be like a small tax revolt or something that happens after that, or something similar for that matter. And then that would lead to something even bigger than maybe later on. So, going back to freeloaders, by the way, for illegals in this country, we got this nice little study popping up here now, which is study nearly 3 in 5 illegal alien households in America are on taxpayer-funded welfare, which is exactly why these fuckers have no business being in our country, because, shocker, they can't actually support themselves. Ever. And when almost 60 fucking percent of them are taking taxpayer funds instead of those taxpayer funds going to people like myself, etc., for disability, it's a bunch of bullshit, dude, entirely. Anyway, it says close to 6% of households headed by illegal aliens use at least one major form of welfare. New analysis conducted by the Center for Immigration Studies reveals, said CIS analysis from Stephen something or other and Karen Zingler, shows illegals and legal immigrants in general use significantly more welfare than native-born American citizens. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised on that one. I've talked about it before, honestly. When you look at who actually puts money into our system for the welfare state and stuff like that, dude, it's whites and Asians, legitimately. Those are the only people that actually put a net gain into the system. Everybody else takes a net loss, whether it be black people, whether it be Latinos, etc., are all fucking taking money out of the system. So, anyway, said, for example, about 59% of households headed by illegals use welfare, and about 50% of households headed by legal immigrants use at least one form of welfare as well. So at the same time, fewer than 4 in 10 households headed by native-born American citizens are on the welfare system at all. So you have, let's see, so less than 40% of Americans are on welfare, actual American citizens, yet over half of legal immigrants into this country and almost 3/5 of illegals into our nation are on the fucking welfare system. So this is primarily because American welfare system is designed in large part to help low-income families with children, which designates a large share of immigrants, or describes a large share of immigrants, which is exactly why we need to kick these fuckers out, dude. Because again, if they cannot support themselves, then they can fuck off back to their shithole of origin is what it is, dude. And I don't care if that's the goddamn Middle East or some fucking piece of shit fucking Central American country for that matter, dude. Like, it don't matter. Fuck off, dude. Seriously. Anywho. Says, in particular, study found that immigrant-headed households use far more food stamps, Medicaid benefits, and earned income tax credit to native-born American households. It says compared to households headed by U.S.-born immigrant-headed households have especially high use of food programs, 36% to 25%, Medicaid, 37% to 25%, and earned income tax credit, 16% to 12% for U.S.-born. So the use of taxpayer-funded welfare among illegals as well as legal immigrants is significant as the nation's foreign-born population hits new highs under asshole piece of shit Biden. CIS researchers last month unveiled that 49.5 million foreign-born residents now live among the United States, a largest ever in the U.S. history, an overwhelming majority of which is driven by legal immigration levels. For comparison, foreign-born population was just 9.7 million in 1960, which was 5 years before the fucking Hart-Celler Act of 65. So literally, between the time that bullshit took place and now, you have almost 40 million more motherfuckers of foreign-born residency in the United States, a lot of which are cult of Islam followers. And people wonder why I get pissed off, dude. When I get fucking federally swatted 4 years ago, but yet fucking literal goddamn mosques in the state of Ohio that have hundreds of fucking terror ties to them for actual terrorist attacks don't have shit against these fuckers, dude, when they're the actual fucking threat to this country right now. Yeah, somebody said all the anchor babies, aid for dependent, delinquent children is key. Said pop a baby on U.S. soil and the welfare is all yours. And that's exactly what Vivek is talking about now. With the whole, kick all these motherfuckers out that are the fucking gurus in this country. DACA recipients, etc. Which is what it needs to be anyway, dude. Should have been that way decades ago, honestly. 14th Amendment's a fucking joke entirely, dude. And it should have been dealt with a while ago. Honestly, it should have been rewritten from the jump entirely, and it should have never been allowed to take effect the way it originally was written. There's what it is. So, anywho. That's pretty much where I'm at for the day, though. I'll be back, hopefully, on Thursday to talk about some stuff and things. Maybe. I don't know. Depends. So, like I said, I'm just fucking angry more than anything anymore, dude. It's just infuriating. It's frustrating, etc., dude. When people like me have to go to do a bunch of stupid bullshit and then deal with the fuckery within our own government, etc. there, and then you got fucking people just jumping on a border every single day and being like, oh, here's all your free handouts. Now you remember to come back for that court date in 6-7 fucking years from now. Fucking ridiculous, dude, entirely. Like I said, I believe that next year will definitely be a defining moment in this country's history. And I believe it will be a history book moment, for that matter, where you finally have Americans rise the fuck up against the tyranny in our country and the illegal aliens in our country, etc. So, anyway. That's pretty much it for the day. I will be doing... That was weird. I heard a car door outside. Maybe it was my neighbor back here or something, hopefully. I don't know, man. I don't know if I talked about this the other day, actually. I went outside to get the mail, and I found this little motherfucker in my driveway, which is obviously a Juul e-cigarette. And I still have no idea where it fucking came from. I don't think it was the pizza guy. I'm pretty sure it was somebody before that who was fucking around outside what it was there. But at some point here in the next couple of days, I'm supposed to be having a new light come in so I can actually, charge that motherfucker up and do a whole, beam outside like the raccoons will just be like, whoa, kind of thing or whatever. And then some fucking piece of shit outside is out there, I'll be like, click, motherfucker. And I'll be like, you fucking stop right there, bitch. In this standard ground state and be done with it there. Call the cops on their ass right then and there is what it'll be. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. Like I said, be back Thursday for the next episode of Buckshot. I will be most likely at some point later today be doing a holster review for a new holster I got in as an early Christmas present. Here's what it is. So we'll be discussing that and going from there basically. But yeah, other than that though, tactical backpack is still pretty cool. It's getting things done. I figured out after the fact I could actually hold 8 different mags in it, which is nice. So, although that being said, there's 2 that are in the main pocket that aren't really secure. So, in order to grab the other ones, you'd pretty much be reaching in there, grabbing out that one first, locking that bitch up, ding, 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 dropping that mag, grabbing back in there for the other one, popping it in there, et cetera, and then getting it done is what it is. So, but yeah. It's nice they can hold at least 8 there is what it is, because that's a couple more than a full kit then. But anyway. Only time will tell if it'll actually be able to hold that weight indefinitely is what it is there. So, but yeah. I will be, by the way, after that flashlight comes in, I'm able to actually get it charged up and everything like that. I'm doing a review on that too, for that matter. So that'll come out probably, I don't know exactly when now I'm thinking about it. It's either going to be, if I get it before Saturday, it'll be probably Saturday or Sunday. I'll do a review on that one. And like either whether it be Festivus or Christmas Eve then, kind of review or something. And then it'll be other stuff going on after that then. I won't be doing a Christmas show this year. That's a given already, because I'm going to be taking that day off to just bullshit what it is then. Be hanging out with some people and then mostly be gaming that day is what it is. Actually, if I do anything on Christmas Day at all that's chat related, it'll be literally me just doing a gaming chat or something like that based on the game then. So, but yeah, other than that though, that's pretty much where I'm at for the day though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see y'all in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Festivus, etc. Whatever holiday you actually, legitimately embrace, which obviously some of these things are fake holidays. Specifically, Festivus is a fake made-up holiday for that same vein thing. So is Kwanzaa, because that was actually created by the either CIA or like FBI or whatever in the 1970s, which is kind of funny because you actually look at Kwanzaa. It just directly stole from Hanukkah is what it was, dude. Like, it's almost the exact same shit, too. It's like a bunch of candles and a fucking thing, but they're different colors instead of the Hanukkah candles is what it is there. So, kind of messed up, man. Kind of messed up in general. But, it is what it is. Of course, you got that stupid bitch, Kamala, lying her ass off and was like, as a little girl, we celebrated Kwanzaa every year. Yet, meanwhile, it wasn't created until she was like 30 or something. So, anyway, yeah, such a bunch of fucking cunts, dude, in general. Gotta hate the Democrat Party entirely. But anyway, other than that, check us out on Twitter/X. We'll be posting on there for a lot of stuff. We'll usually give our opinions on a bunch of things and whatnot and so forth and so on. So, have a good one, y'all. And I will be back later with another one. So until later, I'll see you guys. Bye.